All right, here we go. The Ghost of Framsburg, or as John would say, the Ghost of Framsburg. Side 1A, the Haunted Keep. We're going to set a card aside. We're going to find a location and add it to the staging area. Give the deck a shuffle. No big deal. All right, so there's the card we're setting aside. The location I'm adding is the Forgotten Crypt. It's just 2 threat, 2 progress. It's immune, and then it helps us find loot objectives when we travel there. So we'll talk about that when I go there. Side 1B, 6 progress needed. This stage cannot be defeated unless the players control at least 1 loot objective. Yep, this is back. Remember the Ruins of Belagos? This thing is back. So we got the Discover X. So whenever we travel somewhere, we discard the X value and we add 1 loot objective if it was discarded this way, and 1 random hazard that was discarded this way. So once again, another loot quest. These can take a while. This quest can take a while. So keeping my threat low with Pippin, 6 threat, 2/1/1/2 Hobbit. Each enemy in play gets +1 engagement cost for each Hobbit hero you control, and then response, after you engage an enemy with an engagement cost higher than your threat, draw a card. We're also bringing Lore Bilbo. This is the alt art Peter Pettigrew that I got from a Gen Con. He is a 1/1/2/2, and I get to draw an additional card at the start of each round. And then Falco Boffin, 7 threat, but it's really 4 because he gets -1 threat for each Hobbit hero I control. He is 2/2/0/2, and then I can discard him to drop my threat by 7. So that's how I'm going to keep my threat low. Super important to bring threat reduction for this quest. And this hero lineup might look familiar to a lot of people. So I'm going to show you the deck that I basically copied from right here. I do not want to take full credit for the strategy to beat this quest, even though the idea came to me, as in, how can I figure out a way to make this quest not take 40 rounds, and Victory Display is something that crossed my mind. Cat Attack has a great deck that basically was exactly what I wanted. He called it the awesome name of Ghostbusters of Framsburg. Amazing name. And it had a lot of the cards I was going to put in my deck anyway. Obviously, some of them I could not because he has cards that are not progression style. So I just made a slight modification of the deck for the series, but most of the credit is going to Cat Attack here. I basically just copied his deck. And he copied that deck from Barlaman and Robin, which is another amazing name. I also always read the Vision of the Palantir's scenario guide to kind of give myself ideas of maybe what I could play. At the end, there's always... It's a long one. I gotta scroll. Everything's long. There we go. Tips and tricks. And he talks about how you can try to do some sneakiness with the Victory Display. And I love reading Vision of the Palantir's guides for scenarios. So Dan is doing an amazing job. So for a quest like this, getting some help from the community is awesome because it really helps me make a video that is interesting and it gives me ideas. And I highly suggest doing searches on RingsDB for the name of the quest and see what decks people have brought to take on a certain quest. And the Vision of the Palantir's blog is amazing. All the quests are in there, so it's just a really great resource. So what's the problem with this quest? Well, you need to find all 3 loot objectives, and there's only 3 of them in the deck. So it's not like there's 7, you have to find 3. There's 3 cards you need to find out of 40. You can't win the game unless you find them, and because it uses the discover keyword mechanic, if those loot objectives end up in the discard pile, you lose the opportunity to reveal them. So what can happen is, on the final stage of the game, if you discard the loot objective from like a shadow card or something, it's in the discard pile, and unless you have a way to get it back into the deck, you have to go through the entire deck again and try to find it. And you might have to do that a couple times. People have said this game has taken them 40 rounds because they just could never get that final loot objective, and they either just threat out, or because they brought a deck that had tons of threat reduction, they just were able to boringly go for 40 rounds. It's very boring. So what we're going to try to do is get 1 card. There's 1 card out of the 40 cards that we need to add to the Victory Display. If we can add that card to the Victory Display, then this quest becomes a lot shorter, and actually the game of trying to get it into the Victory Display is very fun. All right, what do we got? Vanish from Sight, Daron's Runes, Sword Thane, a Good Meal, Athelian Lookout, and then Risk Some Light. Now, Risk Some Light is good because that lets me look at the encounter deck and do some rearranging. Sword Thane I don't really need. Good Meal helps me pay for cards I am going to see 4 more cards. Daron's Runes and Bilbo and drawing a card means I get to see 4 cards. But you know what? There are a lot of cards that I do not see in that opening hand that I'm looking for. Namely, I would like some other secrecy cards, and no cards in my opening hand actually added a card to the victory display. And I need to have a card in my hand that adds a card to the victory display. And you just hold on to it. I hold on to it until I know that the card I'm looking for is in the top whatever, and I can put that card in the victory display because I've been scrying the deck. And there's actually a lot of lore cards that I didn't even include that also let you scry the deck. So it's actually pretty fun to have like a goal of I'm trying to find one card and get it in the victory display. All right, there's that Hobbit Sense. Shadow of the Past, okay, good meal. Resourceful, okay, nice. Oh, there's Furial, good, and another secrecy card. Well, I gotta keep it. I got 2 secrecy cards. Resourceful's good. I once again do not have a card that adds it to the victory display, so I'm not too excited about this. I actually think my first hand was better. So we're going to keep this, and we draw 2 cards, thanks to Bilbo. We get Hennemarth, that's nice, and then the Scroll of Isildur. Okay, that's nice because then that lets me replay lore events from my discard pile. And so, yeah, this isn't great. All right, good meal. I'm going to give that to Pippin. He's always hungry. And the next lore event that I want the good meal to interact with will have a cost reduction of 2. I'm going to spend Falco's resource to give Pippin some resourceful. So now Pippin's going to be collecting 2 resources every round. We're going to play the Athelian Lookout! And he only costs 1 because of secrecy. And I get to look at the top card, and if it's an enemy, I can discard it. It's not. It's a treachery, slammed shut, doomed 1. When revealed, each player chooses and exhausts a character he controls. Until the end of the round, characters cannot be readied by player card effects. That is no problem to reveal on turn 1, so I know I'm not revealing any threat. I definitely don't want to place 6 progress on this quest before I get that card in the victory display. So let's play Hennemarth. There's no reason not to. So he can exhaust and take a peek at the top card of the encounter deck. But I already know what it is. We're going to hold on to these cards. And yeah, okay. So I know I only have 2 threat and staging. And I want to place a little bit of progress on the quest. But I don't want to accidentally ever quest through this when I control a loot objective. So let's just send 5. And we have to exhaust somebody. So I'll exhaust the Lookout. And we have to do Doomed 1. So that's a shame, because now I'm not going to be in secrecy next round, and if I draw a secrecy card, I can't play it. So we do make 3 progress, so we're halfway there, and we're not going to travel to that location, because we only want to travel there if we have a loot objective in the discard pile. And then the Cursed Tower is going to be the next encounter card. So we're going to have 5 threat and staging. Hennemarth let me peek. All right, Pippin gets an extra resource, and Bilbo draws me an extra card. So let's see what my 2 cards are. Sword Thane and another Scroll of Isildur. It's unique, so you only can have 1 in play. It gets a cost reduction for every lore hero you control. Lets me replay a lore event in my discard pile. So that cost 1. And I think I'm going to save up to get Furial in. So she costs 5. So let's see. I'm going to have 5 threat. So if I send Falco, Bilbo, Pippin, that's 5. That's fine. Okay. I will send 5. I reveal the Cursed Tower. It has a Discover 3, and while it's in the staging area, after a player plays an event, raise your threat by 1. So that sucks. So you don't want to keep that in the staging area. So we are definitely going to travel there after making no progress. Discover 3. This could really screw me over. Let's see. Gotta basically discard 3 cards. None of them were the card I was looking for. I do have Shadows of the Past in the deck, but I'm just glad none of them was a card I was looking for, and none of them was a hazard. So we also don't have to reveal the hazard, and we also didn't find any loot. Ooh, the next card was a hazard. It's an Evil Spectre. Okay, so we know what card's coming thanks to Hennemarth. And yeah, doing these Discover travel effects is dangerous because I could totally discard the card I don't want to. Another Furial, and yeah, okay, Out of the Wild. It's secrecy, but guys, that card lets me add a card to the victory display. And I have a good meal, so it's only going to cost 1. And I have Shadows of the Past. So now if the card I'm looking for ends up on top of the discard pile, I can put it back on top of the deck, and then I can use Out of the Wild to add it to the victory display. I mean, this is advanced strategy. We've come a long ways from let's turtle for a few rounds and then advance to the next stage. Like, it's funny to think how the series started and where we are now. All right, I had enough resources to pop in Furial, so when she commits to the quests, we get to take a peek at the top card of the encounter deck, and we can discard it if we want. So that is really nice. And she's 3 willpower. So I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I know that I can get a card in the victory display, and that's really what could stop me, is if I never drew any of these victory display type cards. We're going to send 7 against 4, and I'm going to use Furial to get rid of this card because I'm trying to get through the encounter deck. And now that I know I have Shadows of the Past, I am not scared to accidentally reveal the card I'm looking for, because I do have a way to throw it back into the encounter deck and then use Out of the Wild. So Furial gets rid of that, and we get the Abandoned Ruins. So we have to do the Discover keyword of the active location. Well, this could screw me over. All right, we get the Evil Spectre, not a loot, that's a location, and then a Surging Bat. Okay, well, we have to randomly reveal a hazard if a hazard was discarded, and it was the Evil Spectre. So we ended up with an Evil Spectre in the staging area anyway. So we make 3 progress, which is enough to clear the active location. And let's see, we've added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we've gone through about 10 cards, about a quarter of the way through the encounter deck. So that means the card we're looking for is somewhere in the next 30. Okay, so we're getting there. I don't want to travel there because I still don't have a loot objective in the discard pile, and then Slammed Shut is going to be the top card. That's the one that doesn't let me ready. Okay, I'm not going to engage the Evil Spectre because I can't defend it, so we go into the next round. My threat is very comfortably at 23. Pippin gets extra resource. We're drawing 2 cards. We get some healing and Deep Knowledge card draw. Well, let's get some Deep Knowledge. So we raise our threat by 2, and we get to draw 2 cards. And we get Mithrandir's Advice, which will draw us 3 cards, and then Risk Some Light. So it's free if you're in Secrecy. You get to look at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. You can add 1 to the bottom of the encounter deck and rearrange the top 2. So that's a great event to keep playing. If I use the Scroll of Isildur, I can do it twice. Okay, I am going to do Mithrandir's Advice, and wow, I draw another Mithrandir's Advice and 2 Daron's Runes. All right, we're going to be drawing a lot of cards. Another Mithrandir's Advice, 3 more cards incoming, and 1 of them is Bartering. Oh, that is good. Deep Knowledge and another Bartering. I am so glad I drew Bartering. There's a combo I really want to show you that is insanely fun to play. But first, let's draw more cards. I don't have enough. I mean, how many do I have here? Like half my deck? Okay, Daron's Runes is going to draw me 2 more. And they are another Lookout and another Shadows of the Past. We will discard, I don't know, what do I want to discard? Oh yeah, I have another Furial. Okay, can't have 2 Furials, so we'll discard Furial. And then, yeah, let's do the thing with Bartering. It is so much fun in a Monosphere deck. So Bartering, planning action. Choose a ready player attachment on a character you control. Return that attachment to your hand, and then reduce the cost of the next attachment you play by the cost of the attachment you return to your hand. So the scroll only really cost us 1 to put in play, but it has a cost of 4. That means I can play Sword Thane for free. So I'm going to attach Sword Thane to Furial. She loses the ally type. She is now a hero. And now, because I control 4 lore heroes, Scroll of Isildur goes right back on Pippin for free. It seems like it's not even allowed, but it is. It's great. So that's a fantastic combo to do with a mono lore deck. Okay, I am now going to discard Falco. So Falco's going into the discard pile, and I get to reduce my threat by 7. So that's going to put me back into Secrecy. My threat is now under 20. With a threat of 18, I am not afraid to risk some light. So I'm going to look at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. I may move 1 to the bottom, and I can rearrange the top 2. So if I don't find what I'm looking for in the top 3, I can use the Scroll of Isildur to do it again. But we found it! We found it! There it is! Fram Shade. It is right there. That is the card we want to add to the victory display. So Out of the Wild can add it to the victory display right now if I wanted to. So what we're going to do is move that hazard to the bottom of the deck, and then I think I'm just going to do questing, and then I will do Out of the Wild, because this card that we're going to reveal does nothing if I don't send a hero on the quest. So I just want to get a couple more willpower on the table, and then the treachery is going to whiff. But oh my gosh, we found it. So I have tried this deck 3 times against this quest, and all 3 times I've been able to find Framshade and add it to the victory display at stage 1. So that is excellent. So we're going to play a Lookout and a Warden of Healing. So that's going to be 4 willpower if I don't send the heroes, and then the Afraid of the Dark treachery does nothing because that treachery says attached to a questing hero. So I'm going to send 4 willpower. There we go. We're up against 4. Bada bing, bada boom. And then Afraid of the Dark. So when revealed, attach to a questing hero and remove it from the quests, and then none of that other text matters because I don't have a questing hero. Out of the Wild, Secrecy 2, so it's only going to cost me 1. I add Out of the Wild to the victory display, and then I look at the top 5 cards, and I can choose 1 worth no victory points to add to the victory display. Wow, 2 loot. But yeah, Framshade. It doesn't have victory point values, so we can add it to the victory display. And that just made this quest a normal quest. Like when we get to stage 3, it's not going to be a problem. And the thing is you have to do it this way. You can't use None Return, which is that event that says after you defeat an enemy, add it to the victory display. Because None Return says a non-unique enemy, and the Framshade is unique. So this is a fun little mini game to play with this quest. I love putting the cards in the deck where you do all kinds of encounter deck scrying, and we just try to get Framshade in the victory display before we advance to stage 3. A victory display deck is also really good against this quest and Ruins of Belagos because the more hazards you add to the victory display, the less likely you are to reveal them during the Discover keyword, and also you're more likely to reveal loot, the less non-loot cards you have in the encounter deck. Okay. I don't want to engage the Evil Spectre. We still don't have loot in the discard pile, so there's no point in traveling. I'd only want to travel to that location when we already have a loot in the discard pile to make sure I can find it. But now there's no point in stalling. I've done what I needed to do. Framshade, victory display. We're good. So now we just try to move on. Oh, cool. We're still in Secrecy, and I get another Resourceful. So let's add that to Pippin. So he's now getting 3 resources around, and we got Overhill, Underhill, Gandalf. Excellent. All right, let's play that Daron's Runes I never played. We get another Shadows of the Past and another Lookout. So that's cool. Shadows of the Past is still a really good card, no matter what, because you can put a card back on top of the encounter deck in the quest phase that you can definitely handle. All right, we discarded the bartering to the Daron's Runes because it's really just there to get Sword Thane in play for cheap. The Lookout lets us see we have another Abandoned Ruins coming up, so we have to either resolve the Discover keyword on the active location or Doom 2 and Surge. So I think Furial is going to get rid of that. You know what? No, I can do the Scroll of Isildur. So I discard the Scroll of Isildur, and I play a lore event from my discard pile as if it was in my hand, and then we put that lore event on the bottom of my deck. So it's free, so let's do some Risk Some Light. So Risk Some Light going back on the bottom, and we can choose what card we want to reveal. So we have a 4-threat location and a 3-threat location. So I think the Abandoned Ruins, I don't like that one, especially when there's no active location. We'll put that on the bottom of the deck. And then, I mean, I could have Furial get rid of one of these and reveal the other. I'm really just trying to dig until I find some loot. I decide to put the 3-threat Cursed Tower on top of the deck, so I'm going to be questing against 7. Pippin's going to grab another Scroll of Isildur, and let's go questing. So I am not going to have Furial get rid of the Cursed Tower because the next card I know is not a hazard, and I'm just assuming I'm eventually going to get a loot in the discard pile. It's just got to happen. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've covered the threat that's going to be in staging. We reveal the Cursed Tower. No progress is made. We will travel to the Cursed Tower. It's got Discovery 3, so there's 1, 2, hey, loot, and 3. Okay, and then we do have a hazard. The Hidden Staircase is a hazard, so it gets threat equal to the 10th digit of our threat. So it's only a 1 threat right now. Okay, that's awesome, because we got loot. So that means this Old Lantern is going to get attached to the location, and once we clear the location, we get to grab it. So that's nice, and then we'll be able to progress to stage 2. Okay, so we have 3 progress needed still. And do I want to engage this Evil Spectre? No. I'm going to get Gandalf in next turn. So then Hennemarth lets me see that a bat is coming, so Furiel's definitely going to get rid of that. And yeah, let's go into the next round. Pippin's collecting 2 extra resources around now. We get another scroll and another good meal. Okay, so a good meal will go on Pippin. So whenever we want to play some lore events, we get some good discounts. And we know we're going to be getting rid of this Surging Bat. And I really don't have anything other to play other than Gandalf right now. If I do the Deep Knowledge, I will be out of Secrecy. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Scroll of Isildur to play an event out of my discard pile. And the event I'm going to play is Mithrandir's Advice. So I'm going to draw 3 cards. So let's put that on the bottom of my deck and draw 3 cards after spending a resource. Ooh, Elfstone. That's a good way to get in Gandalf. Good meal and another Mithrandir's Advice. Okay, Elfstone adds 1 progress to the active location, but then when you explore the active location, you get to put an ally from your hand into play for free. Okay, I am actually going to use this good meal to pay for this Mithrandir's Advice, and let's draw 3 more cards. So let's see what I can get here. And we get Daron's Runes, Swordthane, and Treebeard. All right, I'm going to play Daron's Runes, 2 more cards. Golmberry gone, and oh, sweet. Okay, so we did get the final Resourceful just in the nick of time. So I'm going to discard Swordthane to the runes, and now Resourceful comes in. This was the last opportunity I had to play it when it would have only cost 1. I could do another bartering Scroll of Isildur trick to get 1 in, but I'm glad to have snuck it in at the last second here while I'm in Secrecy. Golmberry gone. He quests for the threat of the active location, so he's going to come in. And then I have 2 big allies in my hand that'll be coming in soon, and we're just going to plow right through this quest. It's pretty unstoppable at this point. So Golmberry Gone is questing for 3. Furiel's questing for 3. Like I said, there's no reason to take our time. We're going to try to get through it. I guess you could argue maybe stall and try to get that second piece of loot right now while the encounter discard pile is not shuffled back into the encounter deck. So I might try to stall. I really can't advance anyway right now. I don't have enough willpower, even if I send the whole team. But yeah, I guess if you're not worried about threading out, staying at stage 1 until you get 2 pieces of loot is probably the best bet, because when you advance to stage 2, you have to shuffle in the discard pile. All right, Furiel's getting rid of a bat that surged, and instead we get a werewolf. Okay, so that's a 3-threat enemy. That kind of stinks because that's a lot of threat. So that's a lot of threat. We only made 3 progress, and we needed to make 4 to clear this thing because the Elfstone adds a progress. So unfortunately, we're not going to clear the active location, which I was actually really counting on. I thought Gandalf would be coming in, or Treebeard. If I had sent Hennemarth, I would have cleared it. But let's see what Hennemarth sees. It's the Treachery. Okay, it's the Slam Shut, Doomed 1, exhausted character. They can't ready from player card effects. That's not horrible. All right, Pippin's getting 3 extra resources. Let's go into the next round. Drawing 2 cards, and we get, Scout Ahead, and another Risk Some Light. Okay, so Scout Ahead will let me add another card to the victory display. I think I'm going to quest against that. I would like to add another card to the victory display. Getting another hazard out of the deck just seems like a good idea. Gandalf's going to come in. This is Overhill, Underhill Gandalf. He has 4/4/4 for his stats, and he does not exhaust to quest, but you do have to raise your threat by 2 to keep him in play. Okay, so he's in play. He's going to help me quest. Let's do Doom 2 and draw 2 cards. We get another Out of the Wild. That's interesting. And then Robin Smallbarrow. So he's going to quest for 2, and then he has an ability we can't trigger because we don't have any spirit resources. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Good Meal and Out of the Wild. So I'm going to spend 1 resource, add Out of the Wild to the victory display, and let's add a card from the top 5 to the victory display, trying to increase our chances of finding loot. Okay, so we have this hazard, Slam Shut. We got this Doomed 1, and then either discard a questing character or raise your threat. The Stalker isn't scary because my threat is so low. A location, and then that condition attachment. I got some good options here, actually, of cards I don't like that I would like to get out of this deck. So I think, yeah, let's get rid of that doomed one and you can't ready characters hazard, mainly because it's a hazard, so it's just less likely to get revealed when I'm traveling somewhere. Whoops. And once the deck is shuffled up, we'll have Hennemarth take a peek, and we'll see what's coming, and maybe that'll determine if I want to play any other cards. And he shows me that, a piece of loot is on top of the deck. So that actually gets discarded if it's revealed, and that location and staging lets me pull a discarded piece of loot back into play. So now that I know that's on top of the deck, I think I'm going to trigger my other good meal and reduce the cost of Risk Some Light. So Risk Some Light's only going to cost 1. And I'm going to do some rearranging here. I want to see what is going to be revealed next. So we got the loot, a 4-threat location, and then the abandoned ruins. Okay, so if I reveal no threat, let's see. Oh, wait, no. Abandoned ruins is going to make me trigger the discover keyword on the active location. I'm fine with that because then I will discover loot. Yeah, okay. So that's cool. And this says I may put a card on the bottom of the deck, so I don't have to. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with triggering the discover keyword again, knowing that loot's going to get discarded by it. Okay, so Overhill Underhill Gandalf does not exhaust a quest. Gombury Gaun's questing for 3. There's one more. So Pippin's 2, Bilbo's 1, Furiel's 3. I'm sending as much as I can. So we are sending 16, and we are currently up against 9. I reveal this. I got to do Discover 3. We get loot, not a hazard, and... good, not a hazard. Okay, that's the only thing I was really kind of worried about, was accidentally getting a hazard, but I knew 2 of the 3 weren't. So now we're going to attach a second piece of loot to the Cursed Tower. That's awesome. Okay, and there's already 3 progress on it. We added no threat. Like I said, we were going against Scout Ahead. So, yeah, everything worked. Okay, so we're going to get to put an ally in for free, thanks to Elfstone. So, of course, that's going to be Treebeard, because, 4 resources, so why not? And then we also get to do Scout Ahead. So we're going to look at the top 5 cards of the encounter deck, and then we get to add 1 to the victory display and arrange the other 4 in any order we want. Ooh, there's a nasty one. 2 of them in a row. That is, 1's going in the victory display right now. That makes all your stats 1 less. And look at that, another piece of loot. We're going to end up getting all 3 pieces of loot. We didn't even have to do the Fram Shade victory display things. But I tell you, rearranging the encounter deck and manipulating it all the time really helps with this quest. All right, let me get these cards arranged in the order I want. Okay, here's how I'm going to arrange them. I'm going to leave them face up. So when I travel to somewhere, the first card that gets discarded is the loot. Okay, now Elfstone. In comes Treebeard. He's exhausted. And then I get 2 pieces of loot. Now, here's what's great. Scatha's Teeth says I can exhaust it to reduce my threat by 2. And Overhill Underhill Gandalf makes me raise my threat by 2. The Lantern lets me do some card draw, which I absolutely really don't need. But Scatha's Teeth is great. So for the rest of the game, I'm always just going to be exhausting it to reduce my threat by 2 after I raise it from Gandalf making me raise it. Now we're going to travel to the location that's been in the staging area since the beginning of the game, and it says you discard cards until you get an undead enemy, and then you attach a piece of loot from the discard pile to that undead enemy. So that's why you don't want to travel there until you have loot in the discard pile, so you can guarantee to get one. So we have the Crypt Stalker getting the loot. It gets a bunch of X values equal to your first digit of your threat. My Shadow card is going to just raise my threat by 1, and Gandalf is in play and ready, so he will defend and not take any damage, and then we can just go on to the next round, and I can definitely do some damage to it next turn. So yeah, pretty good. So raise my threat by 1. Now I did forget, when Crypt Stalker attacks you, you're supposed to raise your threat by 1. I remember that in a moment, so I'm supposed to raise it by an additional 1. Like I said, Gandalf would normally make me raise my threat by 2, but I'm just going to always trigger the teeth and drop it right back down by 2. So that is a wash. All right, so going into this turn, we have 2 pieces of loot. We're going to get a third. There's no reason to stall. Now it's just a matter of questing for as much as we can and getting the heck out of here. But I'm actually enjoying the quest, knowing that it's not going to take forever. Another elf stone and quick beam. Okay. Lots of resources. Quick beam, he's going to come in. He comes in with a damage on him to be ready. Gomberry is going to be questing for 2. Yeah, this works. Robin Smallbarrow is going to come in. He's going to quest for 2. So now we got our willpower online. And yeah, let's just destroy this quest. So right now, the top card is the one that reduces everybody's stats by 1. But I'm going to spend 2 resources and play Shadows of the Past and put this 2 threat location on top of the deck. I'd rather reveal that. All right, I need to make 3 progress. I need to make 2 on the active location, and that means if I quest for 14, I'll be able to do that. So let's see how much I can quest for. So Gandalf is 4, Gomberry is 2, there's 2 more. 2 from Pippin, 1 from Bilbo, 3 from Firial. Yep, we're good. Reveal a 2 threat location, we're good. Let me make sure I did my math right. Yep, we're fine. So this just says, while Moonlit Passage is in the staging area, we can't reduce our threat by more than 1. The active location gets added to the victory display, and we have made enough progress to advance the quest. We are now at stage 2. 2A, searching the ruins. Shuffle the discard pile in and reveal a card. That's why you want to try to find loot if you can while you're at stage 1. Try to find both of them. 2B is 12 progress forced. At the beginning of the quest phase, I must choose either raise my threat by 2 or discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a location is discarded and add that location to the staging area. We cannot defeat the stage unless we control 2 loot objectives. All right. So shuffling in the discard pile, and we will now reveal an encounter card. All right, let's see what we're going to get. We've put a lot of nasty cards in the victory display. Doomed one, and then either raise my threat by the number of questing characters or discard a questing character. I could discard Robin Smallbarrow, I guess. Let's see. I'd only have to raise my threat by 5. 6 total because of the doomed. Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll raise my threat by 6. No problem. That's going to bump me into the 30s, so everything that's X based on my first 10 digit or whatever is now 1 more. I am not going to travel because traveling is really not good when all I'm trying to do at this point is make progress. Like, for example, the quest points needed are more than the threat, and then a hazard could add more threat to the staging area. Okay, because I engage an enemy of a higher engagement cost than my threat, I draw a card. I think I forgot to do that when the Crypt Stalker engaged me, and I need to remember to raise my threat after it attacks. Okay, so let's get attacked by the Crypt Stalker. It's 3 against 4. Gandalf will defend this for me. If the active location has a dark trait, this enemy cannot take damage. Okay, no problem. There is no active location. And then Treebeard will defend here. Now, the werewolf, if he gets a shadow with no shadow effect, you deal a damage to the werewolf and the defender. And the werewolf gets boosted by every damage on it. So let's see. Any shadow? Okay, no shadow. So the werewolf's going to take 1 damage. It's attacking for 1 more. And Treebeard takes a damage. All right, well, no problem. So now, can I kill anything? All 3 lookouts are ready. So that's a total of 6. The Warden can heal stuff. That's good. Oh, and Quick Beam's ready. So that's 9. So I can kill either. I'm going to kill the Crypt Stalker. Well, it's already dead, but I'm going to kill it again, I guess. And I'm going to grab that Crypt Key. No, not Crypt Key. Crypt Key. There we go. All right, so he's dead. And that's when I remember I should have raised my threat. So there we go. I'm going to raise my threat by 2 because I think I forgot it twice. And now we get the Crypt Key, which is the 3rd piece of loot. So we could win this quest the normal way if we wanted to. So this one says basically we get to discover an extra 1 when we use the discover keyword. All right, we got all 3 loot. They're all being held by Bilbo. And then I am going to go into the next round. Lots of resources, and it's literally just questing. Like, I just need to quest out, and I will win. Oh, Hennemarth was ready, so let's take a peek. Okay, it's the one where it attaches to a hero. You reduce the hero's willpower to 0 and blank their text box. Actually, that's fine, because I'll just attach it to Bilbo, and I only lose 1 threat. All right, next round. Let's draw 2 cards while we can. Mablung, all right, and then Out of the Wild. I don't need to do any more victory display stuff. All my resources are going towards willpower at this point. So I have Mablung, but I also have Gildor and Glorian, and he quests for 3. So let's do that. I could have also played Mablung and yanked down that undead enemy up in staging. That also could have got threat out, but I'll just put in Gildor. He's questing for more, and we'll play Mablung next round. All right, I am going to make sure that I put that token on the teeth to say that I did raise my threat by 2 with Gandalf and then reduced it by 2 with the teeth. But now I'm going to raise my threat by 2 per the quest card, because either you raise your threat by 2 or you find a location. Okay, I am up against 7, and I'm not revealing any threat. So I just need to make 12 progress. So I need to quest for 19. So if I send all 3 heroes, Gildor, Robin, Quick Beam, let's see, Gombury Gone isn't doing anything, and Gandalf and Treebeard, that is 19. That's perfect. Wait, I gotta send one more, because Bilbo's willpower is going to get reduced down to 0, because this is going to attach to him. So I need to send one of my lookouts. Otherwise, I am 1 progress short. So before I reveal that card, I knew it was coming. There we go. 1 more willpower. I'm sending 20. This gets attached to Bilbo. He no longer draws me 2 cards. He no longer has a willpower. But we made the 12 progress. So we're going to advance to 3A, which is the final quest stage of the quest. And it is the Cursed Shade. We're going to add the Cursed Tomb to the staging area. Other players would have to add an undead enemy. Okay, the Cursed Tomb is a 5/5. It's immune, ruins, dark. The players cannot travel to Cursed Tomb unless they control 3 loot objectives. That's where the 3 loot objectives come in play. And then after we travel there, we're going to try to find Framshade from the discard pile or encounter deck, and then it'll make an immediate attack against everybody. Okay, 3B, 6 progress needed. Framshade is immune. While the Cursed Tomb is in the victory display, Framshade gains victory 6, and this stage cannot be defeated unless Framshade is in the victory display. When the players defeat the stage, they win the game. So we've already added Framshade to the victory display. So that's what's great about doing that thing we did at stage 1. And we can travel to the Cursed Tomb, and it's like, okay, try to find Framshade, and it doesn't say search the victory display. If it said search the victory display, we'd have to yank it out, but we know it's in the victory display, so let's just travel there, and I'm going to engage this guy. I kind of forgot I had Mablung in my hand. It would have actually been smarter just to not engage that enemy and yank him down with Mablung when I play Mablung. All right, I get to draw a card because of Pippin, and we got 2 attacks coming. It doesn't matter if I destroy these enemies. I just need to make 6 progress to win. So let's have Gandalf defend 4 against 4. Attacking enemy gets +1, +2 if it's dark. It is dark. So Gandalf will take 2 damage. And then I'm going to spend 2 resources off of Treebeard to ready Treebeard so he can defend the werewolf again. So the werewolf is attacking for 3. And is there a shadow effect? There is. And it's attacking enemy makes an additional attack. All right, well, that's not a great shadow. All right, he's attacking again for 3. I think one of my lookouts is not going to look out very good. But the lookouts have 2 hit points, so they can survive a non-shadow effect. Discard an attachment I control. All right, one of my resourcefuls goes goodbye, and so does my lookout. So I lose a lookout. I don't have enough ready characters to destroy either of these enemies. I have 3 attack. I can do 1 damage. I might as well. Ping! There we go. Ping that guy. And let's have the Warden heal and Hennemarth take a peek. We get, it's just a 3-threat location. Okay, we're going to win. Let's go into the next round. Okay, the card we draw is Bartering. That does nothing. Now let's play Mablung. So when he enters play, you can yank an enemy out of the staging area. That's why I should have just waited to pull down that Evil Spectre. Pippin was boosting his engagement, so I didn't need to yank him down. Mablung could have got that threat out of staging right here. That's okay. So his 2 willpower, and we're only going to be up against 8 threat. And Gonbury Gone is going to be able to quest for 5. Gonbury Gone can have his willpower equal the threat of a immune location, because Gonbury Gone does not say choose the active location. It just says he gets the willpower equal to the active location's threat. And so he quests for 5. I mean, I don't even have to send a lot of my big willpower people. And yeah, there we go. 6 progress on the quest. We beat this quest 40 minutes. That's not bad. Beat it in 40 minutes. So that's the quest. I actually like it when you try to get the shade in the victory display at the first stage. It makes this quest pretty fun. If you play it the normal way and you don't add any victory condition type cards where you're thinning out the deck and scrying the deck, this quest can take a very long time and it's quite unfun. But if you bring a deck that is going to manipulate the encounter deck, it's not bad. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this one. Take care. Bye-bye.